Listen to me. Watch this video every day if you're serious about changing your life. Because there's one thing that will decide whether you rise or fall, whether you win or lose, and it's not talent, it's not luck, it's your energy. Think about it. Your energy is your fuel. Every conversation, every task, every dream you chase, it all runs on energy. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you're drained, if you're surrounded by the wrong people, if your mind is constantly fighting battles it never needed to fight, success will slip through your fingers like sand. Here's the truth. Not everyone who smiles at you is rooting for you. Not everyone who claps when you win is actually happy for you. Some people clap because they're masking the fact that deep down, they hope you fail. And if you're not paying attention, you'll let those same people have a seat at your table, eat from your plate, and slowly starve your soul. Denzel Washington once said, "Without commitment, you'll never start. Without consistency, you'll never finish." But here's the part no one talks about. You can't stay consistent if you're constantly fighting for your energy. You can't show up at your best if you're surrounded by people, habits, and environments that take more from you than they give. So let's get real. Success isn't just about working hard. It's about protecting your focus, guarding your spirit, and making sure that what's pouring into you is stronger than what's being drained out. Let me give you an example. Imagine your energy is like a bank account. Every time you have a meaningful conversation, get a good night's sleep, eat healthy, exercise, those are deposits. But every time you argue with someone who just loves drama, every time you scroll for hours comparing your life to strangers online, every time you say yes when your gut screamed no, those are withdrawals. And if you let more withdrawals happen than deposits, you go bankrupt. Not financially, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And here's the dangerous part. When you're emotionally bankrupt, you don't just lose productivity, you lose belief. You start doubting yourself. You start thinking maybe your dream is too big, maybe you're not cut out for it. But that's not truth. That's exhaustion talking. Let's talk about the first step to protecting your energy. Stop giving unlimited access to people who drain you. You wouldn't let someone walk into your home and just take your food, your clothes, your money without asking. So why do you let people take your time, your focus, and your peace? Because we've known each other for years? Because they're family? Listen to me. Loyalty without boundaries isn't loyalty, it's self-destruction. I remember a young entrepreneur telling me, "I keep helping my friends with their business ideas, but they never support mine." And I asked him, "Why do you keep showing up for people who don't show up for you?" He said, "Because I don't want to lose them." And I told him, "You've already lost. You've lost time, you've lost energy, and you've lost momentum. The longer you stay, the more you lose." Now, I'm not saying cut everyone off. I'm saying learn to measure the fruit of the relationship. Does it make you stronger, or does it leave you weaker? Does it inspire you, or does it drain you? If it drains you more than it builds you, it's not a healthy connection. It's a slow leak. And you can't run a marathon with a leaking tank. The second key is to control your environment like your future depends on it, because it does. Your environment isn't just the physical space you're in, it's the conversations you hear, the media you consume, the habits you keep. You can't expect to stay motivated if you're waking up to chaos every morning. You can't expect to think big if you spend your nights surrounded by small minds. Denzel often speaks about the power of discipline, about doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. But discipline isn't just about doing. It's about deciding. Deciding who gets your time, deciding where you put your energy, deciding what you will and will not tolerate in your life. One of the biggest traps people fall into is thinking that they have to earn the right to rest, that they can't slow down until they've achieved their goal. But that's like saying you'll only drink water after you've run a marathon. No, rest is part of the process. Protecting your energy means learning to rest before you break, to recharge before you collapse, to step back before you lose yourself in the grind. I want you to remember this. You don't rise by accident. You rise by design. Every successful person you admire has made hard choices about who and what gets access to their mind. They've learned how to walk away without guilt. They've mastered the art of saying no without apology. And here's the thing. You can too. But it starts with one question. What's draining me right now? Be honest. Is it the people you text every day? The habits you can't seem to break? The place you keep going back to even though it never makes you feel good? You can't protect your energy if you're not willing to confront where it's being stolen. Because at the end of the day, success isn't just about hard work, it's about staying in the game long enough to see the results. And you can't stay in the game if you're running on empty. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. Now that we've talked about guarding your circle and controlling your environment, let's get into something even more personal. How you handle the battles inside your own head. Because here's the truth. It doesn't matter how many toxic people you cut off if you're still letting your own thoughts drain you every day. You could be sitting in a quiet room alone and still feel exhausted if your mind is running negative loops nonstop. Protecting your energy starts in your mind. It's the first battlefield. And if you're not intentional about what you allow to stay up there, it will drain you faster than any hater, critic, or manipulator ever could. Think about the times you've replayed an argument for hours after it ended, or how you've let one small failure define your whole week. That's not just wasted energy, that's a mental leak. Every time you dwell on what went wrong instead of what you can do next, you're handing over your energy to something you can't change. Denzel Washington has said, "Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big." But here's what I take from that. Failure is not the enemy, it's the teacher. The real enemy is fear. Fear that you're not good enough. Fear that you'll never catch up. Fear that you're falling behind while everyone else is sprinting ahead. Fear eats more dreams than failure ever will. And if you let fear set up camp in your head, you'll drain yourself before you even start. So here's the step most people skip. Protect your energy by protecting your self-talk. You can't speak to yourself like an enemy and expect to walk through life with confidence. The way you talk to yourself when no one's around sets the tone for everything else. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm tired, I'm behind, I can't do this," your body and mind will believe you. And yes, this is discipline. It's discipline to replace "I can't" with "I will figure it out." It's discipline to swap "I'm too tired" with "I'm grateful for the strength I still have." You're not lying to yourself. You're choosing the thoughts that give you power instead of the ones that drain it. The next thing is this, and it might sting a little. Stop letting old wounds steal today's energy. Some of you are running on empty, not because of what's happening now, but because of what happened years ago that you still haven't released. You keep replaying the betrayal, the rejection, the failure, and every time you do, you spend energy you could be using to build your future. Let me tell you something. You can't build the next chapter of your life if you're still handing out VIP passes to people and events from your past. Every time you give yesterday your attention, you take it away from today. And energy is a one-way street. You can't pour it in two places at once. Protecting your energy means getting serious about closure. And here's the hard truth. Closure doesn't always come from the other person. Sometimes closure is you deciding, "This no longer gets to live rent-free in my head." It's you deleting the number, unfollowing the account, removing the photos, not because you hate them, but because you love your peace more. Now, let's talk about one of the sneakiest ways energy gets stolen: comparison. I know you've heard comparison is the thief of joy, but let's take it further. Comparison is the thief of energy. You wake up feeling fine, but then you scroll through social media and suddenly your day feels heavy. Not because your life changed, but because you just measured it against someone else's highlight reel. That's like running a race while staring into the other lanes. You'll trip over your own feet. Protecting your energy means keeping your eyes on your own path, your own pace. You can be inspired by others, but the moment inspiration turns into discouragement, you've crossed the line into comparison. I'll give you a practical example. I know a guy who was killing it in his field. Great career, happy family, healthy life. But he started following people in his industry who were showing off private jets, luxury homes, designer everything. Within months, he was burnt out. Not because his life got worse, but because he convinced himself it wasn't enough. And when you believe you're behind, you start making desperate moves instead of wise ones. Your energy is precious, and comparison is one of the fastest ways to waste it. You've got to remember, you're not competing with their timeline. You're competing with your old self. If you're better than you were last year, you're winning. That's it. The last thing for this section, and this one is huge, stop overcommitting. So many of you are tired, not because you're doing hard work, but because you're doing too much work. Your calendar is full, but your soul is empty. And the crazy part is, most of the things draining you aren't even things you want to do. They're things you said yes to because you didn't want to disappoint someone. Denzel said, "Don't confuse movement with progress." And wow, is that true? You can be busy all day and not move an inch toward your goals. That's because busyness without direction is just exhaustion in disguise. Protecting your energy means having the courage to say no without guilt, because every yes to something that doesn't serve your purpose is a no to something that does. Let me make it plain. You can't do everything and expect to have energy left for what really matters. You have to choose, and that choice might upset people. But remember, your energy is not a public resource. It's your most valuable asset. So here's your challenge for the rest of the week. Every time someone asks for your time or your attention, ask yourself, if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? If the trade-off costs your peace, your rest, or your progress, the answer is simple. Don't do it, because protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's strategic. And without strategy, success is just a dream you'll never have the strength to reach. We've talked about protecting your circle, we've talked about protecting your mind, we've talked about protecting your time. But there's one more thing. You have to protect your vision. Because the moment you decide to dream bigger, the world is going to test you. It will throw distractions, doubts, and detours in your way. Not because you can't handle it, but because every great dream comes with a price. And here's the truth. Most people lose their dream long before they lose their ability. They let other voices drown it out. They let criticism shrink it. They let fear suffocate it. And little by little, they hand over the energy that was meant to fuel their destiny. Denzel Washington said something that's always stuck with me. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Think about that. Comfort will steal your future faster than struggle ever could. When life gets hard, you fight. But when life gets comfortable, you stop moving. Protecting your energy means staying hungry, even when you're full. It means refusing to settle for good enough when you know there's great inside you. It means keeping your eyes locked on that vision when everyone else is telling you to slow down, play it safe, or quit while you're ahead. And here's where most people get it wrong. They think protecting their energy means living a soft life, avoiding all stress, and staying in their comfort zone. No. Protecting your energy means investing it in what matters, so you have the strength to push through what doesn't. It means cutting off the things that drain you, so you have more to give to the things that grow you. Let me be real with you. There will always be people who don't understand why you're so protective of your energy. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're selfish. They'll say you think you're better them. And you know what? That's fine, because you're not living for their approval. You're living for your purpose. When you start building the life you want, you will outgrow people, habits, and even parts of yourself. And that's okay. Growth is supposed to create distance between who you were and who you are becoming. So here's my message to you. Stop apologizing for protecting your peace. Stop explaining why you don't go to every party, answer every call, or say yes to every request. Stop feeling guilty for resting, for choosing yourself, for guarding your mental space. You are not here to be a battery for other people's lives. You are here to light your own path, and in doing so, you'll inspire others to light theirs. But if you let your energy get drained, if you run on empty long enough, you will burn out before you ever see what you're capable of. And that would be the greatest loss of all. Not the failure, not the rejection, but the regret of knowing you had more in you and you let it fade away. So from this day forward, make it a commitment. Protect your circle. Surround yourself with people who charge you up, not wear you down. Protect your mind. Choose thoughts that give you power, not ones that drain it. Protect your time. Say yes to your purpose and no to what distracts you. Protect your vision. Keep it safe from doubt, fear, and small thinking. Because At the end of the day, your energy is your life force. Where it goes, your life grows. And I'll leave you with this. When you protect your energy, you protect your future. If this message hit you, don't just nod your head and move on. Take a second, hit that like button so this reaches more people who need it. Subscribe if you're ready to protect your energy and step into the life you deserve. And in the comments, tell me, what's one thing you're cutting out starting today to protect your peace? Because the moment you decide, the shift begins.